Hey guys, how's it going? So today's video we're going to be talking about conditionals in Python. So conditionals are very important in any programming language. It's basically how you tell your code to execute different parts of that code. So there might be some instances where you don't have to run a certain block or portion of your code because a certain condition is not met, and there'll be other times where you want your code to run because that threshold or condition is met. So you'll be using a lot of Booleans. So what is a Boolean? Boolean again is just either true or false, and being able to use that in if and else statements to basically branch out your code. So essentially what you're saying is, hey, if this condition A is met, run code A, else, or if not, run code B. And I just had a couple different data structures I wanted to include, so we'll just run through that as we run through the execution. But most importantly, when you're working with any type of conditionals and statements, so conditional statements, so basically a truth expression. So you want to be knowledgeable of what is known as truth tables. So when you're using programming, you're going to be essentially logically structuring your code. And one of the most important things you can learn about and how to evaluate truth, at least in a logical sense. You might have learned this in philosophy class or beginner computer science, but in Python you have the ability to combine different conditionals or conditional expressions. So you can say something like, hey, my name is Kevin and I am 27 years old. So according to truth tables or this logical truth evaluation, if both statements are true, so my name is Kevin and I'm 27, then that returns true. But if one of those statements is false, then that returns false. And obviously, if both statements are false, then that is false. Same thing, we could write it out as code. So I could say, my name is Kevin and my age is 27. And I can just do a simple statement to verify that. So if name equals Kevin, and then if you remember your operators with Python, so you can do like double equal signs for equality, you can do greater than symbols, less than symbols, you can use and, or not, and we'll get into that. So and is a special keyword in Python. So if I want to just check both statements, so age equals 27. So basically what this is doing is using this truth table right here. So if both statements are true, it's going to return true and then run this code right here. So I'm going to do print hola, how's it going? And then if that's not true, you can use basically an else statement. So remember how I said if statement A is true, then run code A. Well, this is supposed to evaluate for true. So if this is false, then you go to basically the next portion of code that evaluates it. So if you have nothing here, I'll just go to the next line. So exit out of that code. But if you have an else statement, it's basically statement B, or the false statement you want to return. So you are not who you say you are. So if I run this, Python conditionals.py, hola, how's it going? Because both statements are true, then that's going to be true. So also the truth tables for or, essentially all you have to know is for and, only one statement is going to be true. If both statements to the left and right of and are true, everything else, if one statement is false either to the left or right, or both statements are false, it's going to be false. For or, it's kind of flipped around. Only one statement has to be true in an or statement. So true or true equals true, true or false equals true, false or true equals true, and then the only time it's false if both statements are false. And then the final one is not. So sometimes when you're working with inputs, you might want to ask like if code is not none, then that's a condition. So you're saying, hey, if it's not empty, then print OK to use. So if I print this over again, you're going to see two statements, hola, how's it going, and OK to use. Oh, and that's actually 0. So let me just make that to 1, and actually, let me actually just make that an array for right now. Okay, so basically we were able to see that not none, so that should be returning true because none is a false value. And then some other false values in Python are like 0, none, the empty string. So be careful of that. But basically with this not one, you're just doing a negation. So if this statement's not true, then don't run this. If it is true, so if this is not false, so if this is true, then run this code. So in this case, right here, count is not none, and it isn't none because it actually has the values inside that list. So again, you could change this AND statement to OR. So again, this is a built-in keyword for Python. So let's just say I wanted to do greater than. So only one statement has to be true. So this is going to still run the same code because at least one statement in this combined statement is true, and that is my name is Kevin, and the variable name is Kevin too. So you can see it's the same. Now let's go back to and even if one statement's false, and in case it's this right statement too, I'm not older than 27, then that's going to return that you are not who you say you are. Oh, I forgot to save, sorry. Oh, no. That was correct. You are not who you say you are. And then finally, one thing I want to add is you could do an elif statement. So what does elif stand for? So basically it's just a shortened or condensed version of else if. So if you have multiple statements that you want to check, you would use this. So I can say if name equals Kevin. So I want this to be true, then I can say we weren't sure about your age. So the reason that you would use like the elif statement again is that you have like multiple statements you want to check, and then also you want to break the execution of your whole logical chain of statements as soon as a true value is found. So, for example, let's say I have a third statement. So this is true, right? So we know that the second statement and this third statement are both true. Both by using elif statements, I only care about the first time it's true. So this should not run. The only thing that's going to run is this statement right here, because this first statement, this is false, because this little part to the right of the and statement is untrue or false. And next, go check this statement, elif name equals Kevin. That's true, so let's go print this, and then it just breaks out. So what do I mean by it breaks the chain? So once this is this is run, it basically just goes to the next line right here. So 18, and then 19, and then 20. So let's see, we weren't sure about your age. So yep, that's basically why you would use like a structure if, elif. You could also have multiple if statements kind of in the same area, but just for example, you don't always have to use the else statement, but just good practice. But yeah, for the most part, what you're just trying to do with these statements is branch out your code. So hey, if this condition is met, run this code. If this other condition is met, run this code. If not, then run this. So this will be very useful when you start writing like more complex functions, especially when you're answering interview problems. And yeah, hopefully this is helpful, and hope you guys have a great day. Thanks.